Hello, welcome to today's episode of the Clinical Care Options podcast series, A Bold Panoramic Grasp of Tardive Dyskinesia. I'm Dr. Joseph McEvoy, a professor in the Department of Psychiatry and Health Behavior at Augusta University in Georgia. With me today to discuss her experience with tardive dyskinesia is one of my patients, Leslie. So Leslie, let's get started. First, let me thank you for joining us to talk about this today.
Certainly, thanks for having me.
Now, my understanding is that over the past years, you've had some depression and it's required treatment to help that included medicines like aripiprazole, quetiapine, and others from that same class. Is that
many others, yes.
When did these movements come on the scene? About how long ago?
I was trying to think about that last night. It's probably been 10 plus years ago.
Okay.
And at the time, I did not have insurance, and I was being seen at a government facility here in Augusta. And my movement disorder had become so extreme, and I was also stuttering to the point of people could not understand me. And so I went out to the facility, and the nurse took me directly back to the chief medical director to show him to me. And they were quite concerned about it.
What were the first movements that you recognized, you felt, you know?
It was the involuntary limb movement.
Could you describe them?
It's just a inability to control my arms flailing, my legs flailing, much more than twitching, but actually flailing. I was falling down a lot because of it. And the stuttering was very bad.
Yeah. Were you the first person to notice this, or did a family member or a friend or some other person?
I was the first person to notice it, and then my family became very concerned about it.
Sure.
Obviously.
Sure. So you mentioned stuttering. I notice even now when we're talking, at times your tongue kind of flickers across the front of your mouth. And at times your jaw seems to move when it wouldn't naturally be moving, given what you're saying. So what do you experience? What do you notice?
It's kind of hard to describe. I can kind of, in the soft tissue of my, like under my tongue, I can feel something. It's not, it doesn't hurt. It's just sort of an uncomfortable feeling, and I can notice my jaw, not necessarily twitching, but, movement that, I'm not, it's...
You're not initiating.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. And how about your arms? What kind of movements do you have now in terms of your arms?
I don't notice any particular involuntary movement with my arms.
Okay. So that's cleared.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So given that you had these movements, Did they affect how you lived your life? Did it change anything about what you do?
At the time when it was at its worst, yes, I could no longer drive. As I said, I was falling down quite a bit. I had to start using paper plates and paper cups because I was dropping things. Cooking became hazardous. It had a huge impact on my life.
Yeah. So this was quite moderately severe to severe tardive dyskinesia, and I've heard from other folks who've experienced this that the same thing you said, that if they're holding a glass or a cup or a plate, if they turn their attention to anything else other than making sure their hand is holding that glass, they're at risk for dropping it. Is that an experience?
Yes, I dropped and broke many things.
Did you continue to have regular contact with your family during this time?
Yes.
Okay, and they remained very supportive.
Yes.
Did you stop going out, things like the grocery store or a trip to the bank?
Oh, most definitely. It was very isolating because it was hugely embarrassing. I looked like a freak. It was terrible.
Yeah. You're very fortunate. You had family, who were very supportive and close. Because as I'm sure you're aware, if you suffer from depression, the last thing you want is to be more isolated.
Exactly. Yes.
Getting out, having social contact, or having a hobby or a club or volunteering or working, all of these things seem to be helpful for people who suffer from depression.
Exactly. But no, I did not go anywhere except to doctor's offices.
What would you like to tell other folks who are in the similar situation where perhaps they have some depression, they've been taking medicines for a good while, the medicines are helping, providing some help for the depression, and they notice, or a family member or a friend or somebody notices some movements? What would you suggest?
I would suggest they find a very reputable neurologist immediately. I went through, as I say, I kind of started at the state facility, but I can't remember now the types of doctors I was sent to or went to, but it took me a long time to get to a neurologist. And so, my advice would be to, skip the GPs and the other, I can't remember the other.
Get to people with some specialization.
Yes.
Area of these
yes.
movement disorders.
Get to them very, very quickly.
Let me ask you, did the movements affect your eating?
Physically with a fork to mouth?
Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, the mechanics of your eating, I meant.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it did.
Yeah. How about chewing and swallowing?
Not so much chewing and swallowing. It just permeated everything in my life. I had developed balance issues, just, like you say, eating, getting dressed, trying to do buttons or something like that.
Things that you did automatically before.
Right. Things like that are, you kind of take for granted. I couldn't do.
Is there anything you could do to stop or limit the amplitude of the movements?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I had no control.
You were not initiating them, and you could not manage them.
No.
They just kept going.
Yes.
Am I right in that they started as you woke up in the morning and they kept going the whole day until you went to sleep at night?
Correct.
Was there anything you would do that would make them worse? If you had, for example, an extra cup of coffee, did that make them worse? Or
no, I don't recall anything aggravating it. It just seemed to be on that kind of high scale of disorder all the time. I don't recollect anything helping it particularly or anything further aggravating it. It did have a progression. It started out just a little bit, with, lesser movement issues, and grew into completely unmanageable, just movement disorders.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever become disheartened by it? Get sad?
Oh, most definitely. As I said, I lived alone then as I do now. I couldn't drive. And I was embarrassed to socialize. So it just, I was, became a shut-in. I am quite isolated now, more so due to, I can't drive anymore. And with the depression, not necessarily related to this tardive dyskinesia. I am very uncomfortable in social situations because of my jaw issues, and I do have a little bit of a stutter. I'm not sure if a lot of people could pick up on it, but I noticed it, and I noticed this jaw issue, and it makes me very uncomfortable in social situations. So that combined with the depression, I isolate myself and have great anxiety, when I have to go to a social function or, those types of things.
Are there other points you want to make about this experience?
I think we've kind of covered the gravity of it. And as I said before, my big takeaway from it is, to find a neurologist quickly. One's not able to control the movements.
Yeah.
And for me, for myself anyway, the only relief I got from it was when I got to a neurologist and got on proper medication.
Excellent. So you what you're saying again is that not everybody really recognizes, understands, knows this problem and what to do about it. But when you finally, and it sounded like you had to, push a bit yourself to get to get the proper referral, to get to see a neurologist, to get on some medicines that have helped.
Yes, you most definitely have to be a very strong advocate for yourself. And if if your GP can't help you and he refers you to someone and that person can't help you, you've just got to keep going. I did a lot of legwork on my own, trying to seek out answers. And I had never heard of the term tardive dyskinesia till I got to a neurologist. No other doctor I saw mentioned it, or maybe didn't know of it, I don't know. But tardive dyskinesia was not in my vocabulary until I got to a neurologist.
All right. Well, thank you very much for this conversation, Leslie.
Certainly.
Thank you all for listening. We hope that you found this discussion informative for your clinical practice. For more information on this series, please visit the show notes. Thank you.